You can start your game, thank you.
Referee Bernie White gets proceedings underway. 10-8, Europe leading the USA. First to 18, first up in this Baker. Nico Tienpont. The Dutchman, who's actually the oldest man in this 10-man field at just 37 years old. It's a young man's game these days, isn't it, Richard?
It's becoming that way more and more.
So Tienpont with that familiar bounce down the lane, and not what he would have been looking for at all. He's left a sleeper. And the brow furrows. You always know that they're not happy when they're frowning like that.
Yes, I think Nico felt the ball was a little bit better than it turned out to be. He shouldn't have too much trouble sparing this. Sleeper hasn't presented too much of a problem to the players when they've left it in the tournament so far. And it really shouldn't to players of this calibre.
Tienpont with the spare, gets the hook, no problem at all. He's happy.
Nico trying to break one of our cameras here.
Well, the way the Americans bowled that last Baker, you know strikes, spares aren't going to do it here. They've got to start looking for strikes. Steve Thornton is the number 2 man, as ever. The man from Bournemouth. Yes, great strike. Steve Thornton actually gave up a career in the finance business to work full-time in 10-pin bowling. That's how dedicated this man is to his sport.
Yes, this is a fantastic shot from Steve. I think as the tournament goes on, he's getting better and better. Really warming to the task now.
So it's the Belgian next, after Thornton gets the congratulations of his teammates. Gary Verbruggen, who bowled a beautiful singles match to beat Tony Manor last time out. Grim focus and determination. Left-hander who leaves the 7.
This is a good shot from Gary. Hits the pocket nicely. Fails to knock them all down. So single pin in the left-hand corner. 7 pin.
Interesting that Europe and USA are both fielding one left-hander. You wonder if that's design or whether it's just a coincidence.
Well, I believe that it's just coincidence.
Verbruggen safely deals with his spare, but this is not the particularly smooth Baker that we were hoping for from the European perspective. 2 spares and 1 strike. And here's an interesting switch. Lee Anderson, who's been the number 5 and therefore the number 10 guy, goes to number 4, and they leave the final frame to Torgerson. Good strike. But that's an interesting tactical switch here, Richard.
Yes, it's a good shot from Thomas with good mix, but with regard to the tactical switch, I think possibly the way of thinking is that Torgerson on fresh oil did bowl at 299, so I think they feel that they're going to get the best out of him on this fresh condition, and probably better to put him at anchor.
Yes, this lane has been dressed with a film of oil which runs 40 of the 60 feet. And as that oil condition changes, so the condition of the lane changes. Torgerson with the strike. So the tactic paid off, a double for Team Europe. But as you say, Richard, it was in the latter stages of that last section that Torgerson in particular had all kinds of problems with his oil. But no problems there. So starting to accumulate a decent score here. You get the big scores, it's stating the obvious. When you get 4, 5, 6 strikes in a row, that's when the thing really starts to mount up. The spares just keep you stuck in second gear. Team Pont got a slightly unlucky spare first time up. What does he get this time? Oh, and he's unlucky again.
Well, Nico liked this shot, but just like Gary, failing to get the corner pin out. Europe have played quite well here. I mean, that really could have been a 5-bagger, but as it is, they've only got one double.
And we've seen Team Pont miss these before, so it needs maximum concentration. Oh, and he's done that too often for his own liking in this tournament. That must be the 3rd or 4th time he's done that.
Yes, there's another poor shot from Nico into that right-hand corner. See the ball just falling off about 3 to 4 feet in front of the 10-pin.
Is it a concentration thing? Is it a technique thing? Is it a pressure thing?
Well, I think it's probably just a lack of concentration. Probably needs to just concentrate very hard on his technique and just try and make a decent shot rather than worry too much about what has happened in the past.
The bug's bit Steve Thornton now as well, and this is a pretty average effort this in this Baker from Team Europe. Heavy on the head pin.
Had a pretty good result out of that, really. Could easily have left the bucket, which would have been a much harder spare. Needs to guard against the chop here, where he picks the 2-pin out, clean as a whistle, and leaves the 5 standing.
Yes, nicely done. As you can see, there wasn't much of a margin for error there.
See the ball only just getting the 5. He very, very nearly chopped that spare, but the ball was just good enough, so here goes Gary looking for a strike.
Got a spare last time out. They're not setting the biggest of targets here, are they, Richard?
No, they're not. And this is easily the worst opening game of a Baker 5 so far in the tournament.
Better from the Belgian.
Oh, Europe really need to accelerate the score in these last few frames. Strikeout's almost essential, I think, to set a reasonable target for USA to shoot at.
Well, they've got Lee Anderson and then Torgerson to come, so there's a chance of some momentum.
Well, both of those struck with their initial balls in the Baker 5, so just maybe Europe can strike out.
Come on, Bo!
Yes, there's another. They could yet set a target, particularly if Torgerson continues to work his magic with this fresh oil.
Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Torgerson coming out for the first singles match after this as well, Nick. I think that must be the tactic, thinking that Torgerson is better on the fresh oil. Let's see how good he is now. If he can strike out, they can set a 227, which is a respectable target.
Come on, Bo!
Yep, there's one. So they've given them something to aim at, Richard, if nothing else. The only question is, will it be enough? These Americans have been terrific in the Baker format. Very much all for one, one for all. Right in the pocket there. Shot at 227 here, which is respectable.
That's right. It's not the greatest opening game of the Baker Fives, but you're still going to have to bowl well to beat it. I mean, it didn't look likely 3 frames ago.
No, that's right. Yes, up until, as you say, 3 frames ago, it looked like they were going to coast through Team USA. They'll have to do some work. Isn't he? That's interesting. 2-2-7 for Team Europe. They'll have to sit and watch and see what Team USA can do in response. So Tim Mack leads the cheerleading for Team USA. How dare he call Bernie White buddy? Where's his respect? Disgraceful. Michael Mullin is the lead-off man, the left-hander. Not leading off very well. Just got married a few weeks ago, Michael Mullin. I wonder if thoughts of romance were in his mind rather than the strike he was thinking of there.
Well, this wasn't a good opener. Way too light on the head pin. It's a fairly dodgy spare, this. Really needs to ignore the fact that the 5 pin's there and just try and make the ball fill that gap between the 3 and the 10, and then the 3 should just take the 5 out.
But as you say, Richard, tricky. Oh, nicely done. Very nicely done. Dug himself out of a hole.
Well, he's gone it the other way. I don't know whether that was by design, but he's actually knocked the 3 onto the 10.
Come on, bro.
Here's a fella who really seemed to come of age in that demolition job on Tore Torgersen when he bowled a beautiful 245. Dino Castillo, the Texan. Well, he likes this lane. So they're level pegging. Europe opened up with a spare, then a strike. And that's exactly what the USA have done. Made a slightly uncertain start to this Weber Cup, didn't he? But not anymore.
No, he seems to be finding his range. He's got some carry now, which he was lacking earlier on. These are good players. They find ways to beat the lane eventually if you give them enough time.
Well, if USA mirror Europe, Bill Hoffman will get 9 here. Is that spooky or what?
It's just coincidence, Nick.
Well, I think higher forces are at work here, Richard Hood.
No.
Bill Hoffman would agree with me as he goes for that 7 and gets it easily. So nothing between them here, but remember that open frame of Nico Tienpont looms large down the road. Now, if it's going to carry on like this, the next man up, who is Tony Manor, the big fella, will bowl a strike.
USA now go strike 9 miss, I will start to believe it's a bit spooky.
Yes. So will I, because that's on the agenda next. The USA absolutely mirroring Europe through 4 frames. If Mac adds a strike here, they will be neck and neck. And I'll tell you what, Nico Tienpont is watching in the audience. Oh, there's the strike. But coming up is the Nico Tienpont frame. This is the one he left open.
Well, this is a great shot from the American captain. Exactly what was needed to keep pace with Europe. Did he like that? I think so.
But Mike Mullin, this is the one that went 9 miss for Nico Tienpont. So anything better than that puts Team USA in front. Well, there's 9. And he nearly got himself a spare there. If this is a miss, that will be spooky indeed.
He's not going to miss. I don't believe in spookiness. This is going to spare.
Now, is this Lane playing tricks on us all? Is he going to miss again? It can't happen. Surely not. No. That puts Team USA ahead of where Team Europe were. Just by 1 and working a spare. Now, if you want to follow the analogy through, this was 8 spare for Team Europe, so a strike from Castillo really does put the Americans in good shape. And there it is. He's so on his game at the moment, Dino Castillo. I tell you, you wouldn't want to be facing him in a singles competition at the moment.
No, he seems to be in the groove now.
He's probably become the form player here on Team USA. It was Tony Mann on the left that made the good early start, but Castillo is absolutely red hot right now. But this is where Europe got it together. They struck out from here, so Team USA have a lot of work to do. Bill Hoffman from Cleveland, Ohio is the first man up.
Oh, curve guy.
And he strikes. There's a double.
Well, realistically, USA still need another 2 strikes to follow these 2 to stand a chance of winning this. They get the first one but not the next. We could be heading for a tie. We haven't had a tie yet.
In other words, let's dump a load of pressure on Big Tony Manor. Oh, he's got it. He's done his bit. .22 pins is the advantage. It's all down to the captain, Tim Mack.
Well, if Tim were to have a 9 spare, he could win by a pin by striking after that. And the strike should wrap it up. Anything less than the 9 spare and Europe could win or tie this match. So it really all hinges on this one shot.
Hello, what's going on here? Mac's a bit uncertain. Now, we saw that in his last singles match, and he missed his shot.
Yes, when all these players have a a pre-shot routine that they like to go through. And if something disturbs it, they just want to start it all over again.
Oh, he's gone wide. Oh, he got away with it, didn't he? Oh, I thought that was going.
Well, this is game shot for the USA.
But look how wide it goes, Richard. Look at that. Oh.
Well, you couldn't get it much wider and keep it on the lane. I mean, that must have been 1.5 to 1 board. Only another inch or so, and that's in the gutter.
Just one of the guys down there just said, "Keep it on the lane, Tim." He knows. He's got that on the lane, and there is no doubt now.
Well, this was a very unusual shot from Tim, but it's safety first. He didn't want to risk put it in the gutter because he got very close to it on his last strike shot. So threw it pretty hard and straight because he only needed a few pins to guarantee the win. I suspect we'll see a more conventional delivery from Tim here now. Yep.
Didn't matter. Very impressive. 248 does it. A 21-pin advantage to Team USA, and I'll tell you what, this is quite a charge the Americans are starting to mount here. They were adrift by 4 points, but now, after that victory in the Baker, it's Team Europe 10, Team USA 9.